Meow.
Hello YouTubers and random Doctor Who fans, it is me, Mona Supreme, and I am joined today with...
Hello, I'm Mona.
Previously seen in our Battles in Time unboxing video, go check that out if you haven't. So today we're going to be reviewing, and pre-reviewing if that makes any sense, Revolution of the Daleks. The latest Dalek installment, and I'll just jump straight into it. What are you hoping you're going to see in this?
I'm hoping, I think the one thing I'm hoping the most is probably the Jack and Doctor interaction. Them meeting after like 11 years.
Right.
Also, I'm very interested to see how Ryan and Graham are gonna go out, because when they announced that Bradley Walsh was leaving, he was telling a story about how Jodie Whittaker, broke down crying.
Yeah.
After they filmed the scene, and they had to drag her back to her what do you call them? Caravans.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm wondering what could garner such a reaction from that.
And
also, I suppose the political aspect.
It is quite. Obviously, I've seen it. It does have a very heavy political leaning in certain aspects, but I think it's handled well. But we'll go into that in our review.
Yeah, I think the resolution was kind of, I don't know what it is about Doctor Who that it can be so lucky in how topical it gets, because the Dalek in Resolution was, or they mistook it for a drone, didn't they?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and then when Praxeus happened, it was all about a killer, alien virus, and then that was just around the time that COVID-19 was, becoming a proper threat.
It's one of those things, like, it's not totally far-fetched that the Daleks could be a defence drone. I mean, obviously, that they are defence drones because it was in the trailer.
Yeah.
But I thought it was, handled very well. How they did that, but obviously I'm going to get onto that in the review. It's very hard for me not to say stuff, but...
Yes, I haven't seen it yet.
You've not seen it yet, I've seen it, but right. Hello guys, we've just finished watching, I keep wanting to call it Resolution, but it's Revolution. Why did they have to complicate everything?
Resolution of the Daleks.
No, this is Revolution.
No.
I'm confused. Anyway, so this is my second time. This is Mana's first time.
Yep. You don't get TVs in student dorms, and getting that license, that TV license, is it's a pain.
But anyway, so let's dive straight into it. I have very mixed feelings about this episode, which I'm sure you can gather. I have no idea what you think, but I'll find out.
Yeah.
Over the course of this
when
review.
We walked up, oh no, you texted me last night and you're like, oh, brace yourself.
Yeah, brace yourself. Oscar's probably going to get a little bit ranty in certain areas, but I kind of feel like my structure is terrible. I feel like the consensus of this has been overall positive.
What, online?
Yeah, but I feel like with a rewatch, I think people are probably gonna go, yeah, you know what, it's one of those stories. I feel like with subsequent rewatches, you'll just keep picking apart at it.
Like fast food.
Like fast food. I just don't think there's an awful lot substantially in this, at least for certain areas, like the Daleks, but we'll get onto that later.
I think a lot of people predicted correctly about the fact that he would be the one to break the Doctor out of prison. I didn't expect. I thought that was quite a good moment where you just hear his voice and then he stood there in a prison cell.
Yeah.
And I like the sort of I like the explanation that he waited 19 years. It's one of those things Doctor Who does now where they have a large amount of time going in just a, very, very quickly.
I mean, it started off with Moffat, really, like with the Lone Centurion.
That's even less time than he spent on Earth with the original tortured team that we know.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking about, because like specifically in the tortured audios, they really, not just tortured audios but also everything after Children of Earth is sort of like emphasise how important Yanto was to Jack. But they had such a short amount of time together. It's like from like 2006 to 2009 or whatever.
That's an interesting point. I thought that when I was watching Children of the Earth, thinking like, why is Yanto all of a sudden massively important to Jack?
And even afterwards, like, it still means so much. And that just sort of, the 19 years thing, that just sort of emphasises how important the Doctor is to Jack. He just sort of goes away at the end. There's no
there's no proper departure,
there's no proper goodbye scene. They just end it on good terms, like over a phone call.
Yeah, I mean, you can see that as quite like just a nice small way of ending it.
Yeah, because like that sort of opens up the possibility to more stories with him in the future, I guess.
That's true, but it's suffering. I mean, Stu Bagford would say this, as in, we're going to do more with it later. Like with Clara's character, like with, you know, all these things like Yaz and all this stuff, we're going to do it later. And it's like, I'm just fed up of, this is going into a bit of a rant, it kind of bleeds into all the topics we're going to talk about, how they're just so afraid to just delve into something. Like, I feel like this story was very, lots and lots of little ideas and lots of characters, and just everything gets about 5 minutes worth, and it's like, oh, let's move on. Like the Doctor and Ryan scene, that kind of was like, just, we'll dedicate 5 minutes to this, and then, okay, we'll do something else. And it just feels very scatterbrained.
Yeah, I just think the point, like, why, I'm just thinking about why he took all that effort to try and break the Doctor out of prison and then, like, bugger off.
Yeah, I know. It felt a bit strange because, like,
was his aim just to get the Doctor out of prison, or was he actually just trying to track her down and, you know, just see her again because he wanted to see her again?
Yeah, and even when he does see her again, it's not like they really properly share much of a moment. I mean, there's a bit in the TARDIS where they're like, oh, I've not seen this thing in however long, and it's nice to see everything again, but I just didn't really get much of a jelly between those two characters this time around. But yeah, my thing about Captain Jack, I think when I looked on the internet afterwards, everyone said, oh, Jack was great in it, and I thought he was incredibly corny. And I don't know, has he just not acted since Doctor Who?
No, he has.
Has he?
And as Captain Jack too, in Big Finish.
Yeah. It's one of those things, I don't know what it is, it just felt like when he was repeating lines that he said before, like, you do you really want to know? Like when he shoved the vortex manipulator up his ass, and like you can talk about the plastic surgery thing, and there was like, I could swear there was a couple more lines. To me, I thought
the plastic surgery line was just a reference to why he's aged.
Yeah, why he's aged, but I feel like he felt very cliche. Is that the right word? He just felt.
You mean like a caricature?
Yeah, to me, he just felt like a bit like a caricature, and
he felt more of a caricature in Fugitive the Jadoon to me.
Yeah, I can agree with that, but I think when you're given such a good character.
Sorry, go on.
Sorry, when you're given such a good character like Captain Jack, it's like, I would much rather have just focused on Jack and the Doctor, and possibly maybe Yaz, than the entire team. I think, I mean, Chibnall's Who has been overcrowded, in my opinion. I've never been a massive fan of 3 in the TARDIS.
I think it works. You just need more. You need more episodes to tell all their stories. More time, just in general, because it works. I think it works in First Doctor's era.
Yeah, the Doctor in prison, I thought it was too short. Other people have pointed out that the Jadoon prison, like, we didn't see any Jadoon guarding anything.
That's true, yeah. I think it's nice that... I think it doesn't really add anything to the TV show, but I think it's nice for writers in the future for expanded universe media to sort of fill in gaps for the Doctor's time in prison.
Well, I guess so, but that was always Moffat's excuse, and like, who did stories on Trenzalore? Has there even been any Big Finish stuff on Trenzalore?
No.
There was a book, which I did actually read some of it, which was actually quite good, but I'd just much rather see it. There's a difference between like classic and modern Who in that regard, in the fact that classic Who would spend time in all these places, and you'd have a story dedicated to all this stuff, whereas New Who just likes to go, oh, just let Big Finish do it. I'll let the novels do it, and that's not what I watch Doctor Who for. I watch it for this rich, expansive universe, and the TV show for me just doesn't offer that at the moment, which is really sad. So yeah, Doctor Who in the prison, that's kind of what it reminded me of, thinking I expected this story to have more of a focus on the prison, because explore why she's there more.
Yeah.
I didn't even know why she was there. Why was she there? Was it established last time? I can't remember.
I think, wasn't she paying her crimes for when she was the fugitive Doctor?
Well, was it something like that?
For when she was Jo Martin.
But could the Jadoon even realise that she could regenerate? Because like, Jadoon are stupid. And why didn't they arrest David Tennant's Doctor in Smith and Jones?
Yeah, who knows?
Doctor Who and continuity don't really go hand in hand, do they?
No.
And canon and all that kind of stuff.
Certainly not.
I mean, Steve Moffat rebooted the universe, for God's sake.
Yes, that's kind of that and the Time War. That's sort of two ways in which you can shrug it off. And then the sort of political angle of the episode. There was a main concept was about the Dalek drones and the shady politicians trying to make them. What did you think about that?
Oh, I actually really did enjoy like the build up, like with the politicians meeting up and like keeping everything under wraps. I thought that was really cool. But it's just one of those things. Like I'll keep coming back to this point. The story just feels like it jumps way too much. As in, if we're gonna go down like the darker political kind of route, like why didn't we stick with that? I would much rather have had a full story just to do with the defence drones.
Yeah, and what was her name? The Prime Minister lady who was totally not a Theresa May ripoff.
I forgot she was even in it until she got killed off at the end.
Yeah. Why wasn't her character delved into deeply?
Yeah, like why didn't we get anything there?
Yeah.
I would much rather have had her instead of Robertson, like in the TARDIS. Maybe, I don't know, because I mean I feel like we already know Robertson and this didn't add anything really.
Yeah.
Other than he wanted to end humanity.
Yeah. I thought it was quite neutral. It was quite thankfully neutral, in fact. What are you talking about? Who's that YouTuber that you saw a review of?
Oh, what, an Nerdotic, or whatever it's called.
And I think I can see now why he wasn't talking about, you know, woke things and all that, because and I think it feeds into Chibnall's Who as a whole, which is kind of centrist in a way.
Yeah, we talked about this.
I'm glad the dialogue doesn't like include any. It feels like a breather, because there's no sort of mentions of left wing or right wing politics.
Yeah, I mean I got that from this episode, in the fact that I didn't have to hold my breath when they started. I don't know, thinking of examples in series 11 and 12 where you've gone, okay. I mean, it doesn't really bother me, but I held my breath to think, oh my god, they're not going to screw this up and they're not going to piss everyone in the world off. And I didn't really have that kind of like anxious feeling in this one. which I was kind of thankful for. But yeah, I just feel like they just dropped the politics halfway through and just thought,
yeah,
oh, we're gonna bring the bronze Daleks back. We're gonna get into that in a bit.
Yeah. So yeah, it's the story sort of shifting the focus, I guess, isn't it? A bit too much. It sort of loses its initial theming and then sort of changes the stories, what the story's about, over to about sort of the Doctor, about the Doctor's effect on the other companions.
Yeah.
And the companions eventually deciding to leave. So, and then I suppose we can talk about the scene I want to talk about, which is sometimes it does go on a bit. But that's not always a bad thing for for scenes where people talk to each other to go on a bit. It's fine if it's you know a good character drama. But again, it's detracting from what we'd started out doing.
Yeah. It's like, oh, we're going to go for like a political satire, like, the protest thing, like they're put in place to control the population.
Yeah.
I thought that's the direction this is going to go in. And then I think that was probably the point in the episode which kind of felt like, oh, so we're not going to be exploring this further. I did really like that scene in isolation.
Yeah, me too.
But when you put it in this,
it's also like in Resolution.
Oh, with Ryan and his dad in the cafe.
Yeah,
it was a really good scene. They both did a really good job in that.
It's tonal whiplash. They jump from like car chases and Dalek sci-fi plot, and then serious character drama. Why weren't you at Mum's funeral?
It's one of those things I don't understand what Chibnall's thing is in he just can't seem to just get
he's
the
good
balance
he's,
right.
he's good at the character drama stuff, I think.
Yeah.
Except for that one scene in The Timeless Children.
Which one remember?
I think you're a really amazing person, Yaz.
Oh yeah, where Graham was like leching over Yaz.
Yeah.
I got the wrong end of the stick with that scene. I was like, is he coming on to Yaz? What's going on here?
I did not pick that up. No.
But yeah.
But yeah, like I wish he would tell a story where he just played to his strengths, and those strengths being the character drama.
The thing is, I think he is good at Dalek stuff. He proved that in Resolution, and he proved that in part here. My main issue with the Daleks isn't purely down to the writing, but I mean it does have a bit to do with it as well. I think he's good at both of those things. I don't understand this necessity to like include them in the same episode. Like, for God's sake, I would rather The Timeless Children have been more focused on the companions and things like that. Like It Takes You Away did as well. We were talking about like lesser finales. If The Timeless Children would have been a more grounded, emotional finale, I think it probably would have done better. And then this one's the big bombastic Dalek one.
Yeah.
And they just seem to be managing it just very poorly.
So about the words on the screen.
Yeah, the font on the screen. So in Resolution they did like white text with like a blurred frame and like a black outline or whatever.
And they did it with Spyfall too, I think.
They did it with Spyfall. But then for whatever reason they just thought, I watched Star Wars last night, let's do orange.
Yeah.
Like that stupid introduction a long time ago in a galaxy far, far... I mean, it didn't say that, but it was similar. It just felt so weird and out of place.
Yeah.
I didn't understand. And there's actually, I'll put it on screen for you guys now. There's a masking issue with one of the text things. Like, it has the two orange things there, but there's like a black outline around the text.
Is there?
Did you not notice that? Like, on first viewing, I shouted out, like, what is happening there? Like, this is the BBC, like, the biggest TV company almost in the world, and they're just letting things like that slip. Like, for God's sake, even I'd noticed that on my edit. And it's all these small little things which just keep building up and up and up, which just make the episode crumble in parts for me, because I don't know. That's an entirely different kind of worms about, like, should Doctor Who be a massive production thing, or should it stick to its roots of, you know, less is more and all this kind of stuff.
Sticking to BBC Studios.
Sticking to BBC Studios. Yeah, maybe they should do that. They should just not go on location. They should just build sets and film it in black and white. And then it'd be like the
Damn, you really are a 45-year-old man.
Yeah. Oh, no, I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to ask you.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Just, you said to me when we were watching the scene in the ship, where the camera like pans around
Yes.
the Daleks, you said something just seemed off.
Yeah, I said that, you know, because you mentioned earlier about a different bit about how the composition was off, and then when that scene, that circling shot, and I said, yeah, that composition looks off.
Yeah, and compare that to, do you remember when they introduced the Daleks in Stone Earth?
Yes,
With
I was
Graham
thinking
Harper?
about that.
And it's like, that is much better composition.
There are no like sort of control stations or anything for the Daleks to be working at.
Yeah, they're just
all
gathered in a circle. And okay, the thing is, I'm
like
gonna,
a cult.
no matter how much I rant about this, I feel like I won't get every single point across that I have in my head, because like I feel like the Daleks just deserve a director who understands the Daleks properly, because I'm pretty damn sure that these Dalek props were made by this Planet Earth, you know, the ones who make the replicas. I'm pretty sure they'll have hired a couple of those, and they just, I don't know, they just seem to look a little bit cheaper than usual. There's just something about them that just looks off.
Why would you think that they hide some of those?
Because they did for The Witch's Familiar.
Oh.
Yeah, it's been proven that they just don't have enough money to, they distribute the budget so poorly when it comes to the Dalek stories that's... Oh, I feel like I should probably put this in another video. My plea to the BBC is to scrap the bronze ones. I think you're done. I think the time for the bronze Daleks is done. Okay? And you need to focus... They did it with the recon ones. They made these really cool, awesome new props. And they just felt really organic in the story, and they just worked so well. But then when it goes to the bronze ones, it's like, here we are again. It's a bit like when the... in the Doctor Falls, when the when the Parallel Earth Cybermen came in.
Mm.
It just feels like we're just dragging these out of the cupboard because they're the only ones we've got.
Yeah, I guess.
And for me, it just really comes across, and it just feels a bit lazy. And
I did notice that they were a lot shinier.
yeah, we pretty much agree between us two. You're probably more focused on like the whole writing side and the storytelling, whereas
Yeah.
I love the behind the scenes stuff. I'm a massive Dalek aficionado, and I pretty much know everything about all the Dalek props. I'm out of breath now. I feel like I'm the only person who really pays attention to this stuff.
As a Dalek expert.
Because I mean,
with a PhD.
I think that
That's such a boomer joke.
Nicholas Briggs obviously is a massive Dalek fan as well, and he does them justice on Big Finish, from what I've heard anyway. Because
I mean, this is not the best Dalek related story that's come out this year. Definitely not.
I mean, I wasn't really that big on the web series either.
The thing that I was expecting.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, this is the bit which I was going to rant about. Yeah, go on.
Take me to your leader.
Yeah. I was like, oh my god, is it Davros? Because there were actually rumours of the guy who plays somebody in Voyage to the Damned, that rich dude. What's it called? There were rumours of him playing Davros.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, take me to your leader, and then just another bronze Dalek. See, that was my big pet peeve with this episode, thinking...
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I'm not even bothered if we just see the Series 4 Red Supreme Dalek again, because...
It could have been one of those, or it could have been one with it could have been just a black Dalek. It could have been one with just a black dome head.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, like...
It could have been anything.
I imagine a scenario where Nicholas Riggs should have gone, hang on, this is the Supreme. He said, hand me some masking tape and hand me a black spray paint. And then he sprays the gun black and it's like, there you go, that's okay, we'll shoot now. It's one of those things like, the production team obviously just don't do the research when it comes to this stuff. Because when you have a Dalek leader, it's like, well, it's in every single episode apart from the first one. Alright, we were ranting about Daleks.
Yes,
I'm sure
you
Dalek aficionados know that in the first Dalek story, they were all the same.
Yes.
And they didn't have a hierarchy, however you say that word.
Yeah.
But they were originally supposed to have a glass Dalek leader.
A glass Dalek?
Yeah, that's where the glass Dalek originally came from.
Oh.
In the original draft of Terra Nation's script, it said the glass leader Dalek comes into frame or whatever. But obviously due to budget constraints they couldn't do that. After that though, Dalek Invasion of Earth.
Yes,
they had two leaders. They had the one, well they weren't supposed to be two different ones. There was one which wasn't finished painted, so it had like black and silver panels.
Yeah.
But fans like to retcon that and say it was like the Saucer pilot, and then the fully black one was the Saucer commander. I'm giving you a bit of a history lesson here. So it's very well embedded in Dalek mythos that they have different ranks. So why in this episode was the leader just a standard drone? I don't understand. I just feel like this show just isn't really made for me and made for like the fans anymore.
It's definitely a different kind of show.
Mm.
I think it's definitely not the. It's definitely not the pleasing specifically to like sort of classic Who fans like it was in the Capaldi era.
Mm.
I think Capaldi like definitely was an ambassador of those types of people, and you know it's because of him that the Mundasian Cybermen returned.
Thank you, Capaldi.
It's just little, well, not little, but you know, little sort of things like that sort of, I think certain types of people have to be there to make it happen.
Mm. That's true. And Chris Chibnall, I do question whether...
I mean, Chris Chibnall, you know, I read the Ascension of the Cybermen script.
Oh, okay.
And he does specify, I wanted to look this up, he does specify that he wanted to use the Age of Steel Cybermen for it.
Alright, okay, that's interesting.
So, like, that was an attention to detail, I guess.
Yeah.
So if he wanted, then, you know, he could have put it in the script for Revolution of the Daleks. That specific attention to detail. In fact, if it ever comes out, we have to look up whether that one Dalek that says "speak," we have to look up if that says Supreme Dalek or not. Or leader or whatever.
It's just bizarre. It's very bizarre. I think I've got it all on my system now. Anyway.
Great.
But, like, would you have wanted Davros in this story anyway? Or was it just another element too much?
If they had focused on the political leaders, and they would have made the story more focused about them trying to stop it, and if the pure Daleks came in a lot sooner, then yeah, maybe having Davros in there as well would have been cool, because like he might have been like disgusted by these new kinds of Daleks.
I kind of thought that was what they would have done.
To be honest.
I think the idea of the what were they called? The new squadron of Daleks. What were they called? The
Dalek drones.
No. The bronze ones. SAS. I think that was a really dumb idea. In the fact, if it had just been a small squadron of them, like I don't know, like the Cult of Skaro kind of scenario, then I'd understand them killing those Daleks and then going back home. But the fact that they had thousands and thousands of them, well, surely they'd just kill humanity there and then because they're Daleks. What Dalek has ever gone, oh, I don't want to kill a human today, I'd rather focus on my research. But it's like they didn't have any casualties either. Like none of the Bronze Daleks really got. Well, they never got shown to be killed or anything. So it's not like the strength in numbers was decreased or anything. And Earth doesn't have unit anymore, so they don't have any defense.
Oh, while we're still talking about Daleks, I really loved the water hose and the
that was cool.
And the tear gas thing.
Were you expecting that though?
No.
No, I thought they were going to kill him, and I was thinking.
Yeah, me too.
That's a bit full on for defense drones, but it was cool. But then again, when the mutants teleported into the casing, it's like, how did they manage to?
That one Dalek said that he'd made alterations to the casings.
How?
Don't know. But then
it's never shown.
After that, well, the entire thing is never shown really.
No. When
it was hinted at before that guy had let he'd let the mutant into their systems.
Had he?
Yeah.
Oh.
And
and
Jack Robertson was like, "You idiot."
Yeah, no, I don't even understand.
So like a lot of it's off screen. A lot of that Daleks planning is off screen. The whole mutants growing in the tanks. That's all off screen world.
It's one of those things when you do exposition and dialogue throwaway like that. If you don't pay attention for a split second, you miss a key detail.
Yeah.
And it's kind of infuriating when that happens, because obviously you should be paying attention because you're watching bloody TV, aren't you? But
if it doesn't grab your attention, then
yeah. Oh, the Imperial voices were cool.
Oh yes, that was.
But if you're gonna do fan service like that, at least do fan service where you put a Supreme Dalek in there. Anyway, next question.
Ryan,
finally. You know, actually, contrary to what everybody else says, Ryan is probably my favourite out of the three. I think I prefer him to Bill. I prefer him to
Bill.
Series 9 Clara.
That's fair.
Yeah, because Series 9 Clara didn't do anything. Yeah, I don't know, rewatching Bill, I wasn't a massive fan. At the time, she was a breath of fresh air, but I feel like halfway through they kind of just forgot about her character, and then they killed her off.
I think she's still a breath of fresh air, to be honest. We needed more episodes like Can You Hear Me?
Yeah.
Which really sort of delved into their characters, their lives.
I haven't actually rewatched Series 12 since it came out, so I find it a bit difficult to comment on
well, that's just what I remember from watching it.
Yeah. I mean, I've rewatched Series 11 and, you know, I don't know. I guess I just feel I connect with Ryan quite a bit, and it's kind of...
Fair enough.
Yeah, I don't know. Stupidity is not the right word, but I don't know. His approach to things, I feel like I can relate. So that's probably why I like him. I'm not a fan of Graham, to be honest.
Really?
I like in this episode, what did he do?
Yeah,
he didn't do anything.
I did sort of wonder. There were points I was thinking, okay, what was Graham? I think maybe you relate to him because you're the same age, and I guess you know, it's also a northerner, and
we have the same kind of like, alright, kind of attitude towards everything.
Like the past 5 or 6 companions, they've all left by death. And now we finally have a companion departure that's not so overly dramatic or grim. So I appreciate that about how it's more toned down. I think it would have been a bit horrid if they were exterminated by Daleks.
I just didn't see that happening.
I think Chibnall is an avid follower of Russell T Davies's methods. And I remember reading in his book that for The Stolen Earth and Journey's End, he didn't want to kill Mickey. He was considering killing Mickey, but he didn't, because he felt that would taint Rose, the episode Rose, because he was in the first episode. So yeah, I could see companions starting to die after this.
The thing is, I don't even know what you think overall, to be honest. Yeah, it's
me. It's a jumble.
It's a jumble.
It's a bit of a jumble of good things and it doesn't always follow logic. I think more or less the Dalek angle was quite good, even if like a lot of the actions were explained through exposition, or they didn't look very good, or there wasn't a Supreme Dalek, or anything like that. And then I guess it wasn't particularly focused on one thing. It has some good ideas but doesn't develop too greatly. I think some Doctor Who episodes work best when you've got a lot of good ideas. But then there are episodes where you've got a lot of good ideas and not all of them are given attention. Well, I think a lot of finales do that.
This finale you're gonna completely disagree with me here. I feel like everybody else will as well. But having rewatched a certain finale from the Capaldi era quite recently, this genuinely does make me feel the same way. Face the Raven, Heaven Sent and Hellbent. But what I mean by that is that it has all these ideas which do sound really good on paper. Like, I don't particularly mind the Doctor losing his mind and going back and saving Clara.
Yeah.
But I feel like that, bringing back Gallifrey, trying to hit the emotional beats, dealing with a companion death, all this stuff which is just thrown into a blender. And like, obviously you got the masterpiece which is Heaven Sent. And in this you got, I think, a really cool idea of the drones. They just don't add up to a good whole. And I feel like I can draw comparisons to that. My overall thoughts, on first watch I enjoyed it, because I took it very much for face value. And this is just a fun, thing to watch at 7 o'clock in the evening. But the more I started to think about it, the more I realised how underutilised Jack was. People are saying he wasn't, but I genuinely think he was. I think he needed more focus towards... I would rather have had Graham and Ryan leave the episode prior and have this be Yaz, Jack and the Doctor. Either that, or do Jack leading the trio, because that's what the marketing led us to believe. Yeah. Like, the Doctor's in prison and Jack is going to save humanity.
I didn't believe that the Doctor would be as involved in the plot as she was.
I thought that was a massive misstep. The Daleks, like I said, I adored what they did, well, what little they did with the concept of the drone Daleks. But I genuinely sighed and rolled my eyes at even though we already knew the bronze Daleks were coming back. I kind of rolled my eyes at how poorly they were handled. I didn't like the spaceship either. Again, that's personal preference, but I mean, obviously, like we said with that shot where it's circling around the Daleks, it's like, am I watching Teletubbies or something?
The circling around nothing, that's the thing.
Yeah. Had they have maybe had like different types of Daleks, like, like the B&M sets which came out, like the Big Finish Dalek things. One Dalek has a black dome and black spots, the other one has a silver dome and silver spots.
If only prop repaints were as easy as B&M repaints.
I mean, just get some masking tape and a can of spray paint and you're done. But yeah, I went into that knowing that there probably wouldn't be anything spectacular with the Daleks. But I can't help but feel a little bit disappointed in that. Well, very disappointed, especially with the lack of either Davros, an Emperor, or a Supreme, or even just a squadron leader with a black head or something like that. But all of the ideas were just not executed to the full potential. I think it could. What could it have dropped in favour of just being a bit more streamlined?
What could it have dropped?
Because I think it could have dropped Ryan and Graham in the Timeless Children. No, they could have made a more dramatic thing of like Gallifrey being destroyed and it really like scaring them or whatever of like the Master's strength or anything like that, and they're like, oh god, we need to stay here or whatever. But I don't know.
What could it have dropped? I think maybe Ryan and Graham. Like they show up maybe at the start of the story, maybe at the end of the story, but then people might get mad that it doesn't feel like a fitting conclusion because they're not
in it much. But they weren't in it much anyway.
Yeah, and they even say that they were starting to detach from the Doctor anyway. So either them or maybe Jack, Captain Jack.
Yeah, he did. He was only there for a marketing ploy, really.
Possibly, yeah.
And the fact that I'm sure that they're very well acquainted.
But then
Chris
you sort of need to, explain that,
and Doctor get out of prison.
Yeah.
I'm only rating this anything purely because of the coolness of the other Daleks and that story. And the scene with Doctor and Ryan, I did enjoy that. So I'm probably going to give it a 5.
Really?
Yeah. I was going to go lower, but I thought, well, I don't know. I guess it did make me feel something, at least. Which a lot of Chibnalls who hasn't.
I was gonna say 4.
4?
But now that you mention that,
But then again, we've got to think of it as a whole. We can't just cherry pick things and say, oh, this was good, this was good.
True.
Does it work as a piece of media? And
As
I
a
don't think
whole.
it does.
So yeah, maybe a 4 or a 5. I rated Resolution a 5. Yeah.
What would you rather watch, this or Resolution?
Probably this. Probably Revolution of the Daleks. There are more familiar elements, I guess, because it feels like an ensemble piece. Because I don't know, as little as he's used Jack Robertson, it's kind of neat that he's a previously established element of the story that's included.
I guess it works quite well in tying things together, and especially the follow up from Resolution. I thought it was a really clever segue into how the government used the Dalek casing. I like all that stuff, but I mean, I think it just boils down to I would rather have just focused on one element primarily rather than chucking everything together.
Yeah.
It should have been either a two-parter, or they should have just focused on one side of it. And
Yes.
I need to go to sleep because this episode did things to me. Yeah. It's gotten to the point now where, I enjoy talking about Doctor Who, but I wish I had something really positive to say about Doctor Who. When was the last time we even did that?
Well, I keep making jokes about that.
Yeah.
We're always negative.
But they have the tools, they have the capacity to
I mean,
do it right. But
personally, I'm fulfilled in Doctor Who through Big Finish. You can have your favourite mediums of Doctor Who. You can have, be obsessed with the comics or the novels or the TV show or the audios. For me, and you can not gel with one of those mediums either, and that's fine. Personally, my favourite medium of Doctor Who at the moment is on the audio, and but not as much on TV, so it's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's
Doctor Who is more than TV, but I just kind of wish that they'd push the boat out a little bit more.
It's perfectly reasonable.
Yeah.
Want.
I want a movie, but that's a topic for another day. Because
Yeah.
it did good things for Sonic, but that's a topic for another day. Right then, thank you very much for watching, guys. Let me know what you thought. Keep it civil. Don't kill each other, even though there isn't really much to kill each other over in this one because,
Thankfully, politics were left neutral.
Yeah. So thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you later.
Bye bye.